Hello everybody, welcome back to Excelling with Excel. We've been working on building a spreadsheet. This is the third section on building a spreadsheet. We worked a little bit on the formulas, working on a formula going vertically, and now we're going to work on working on formulas horizontally. So what I wanted to first do is, in our last video we had added the question number row here, and so we're going to use our autofill function to fill in the questions and see how many questions we have on this test, just based on the number of columns that I put in originally. So I'm going to left click, turn my plus sign to black in the right bottom hand corner of the cell. I'm going to pull the cell all the way across horizontally, all the way covering all of that blue, and you'll notice it fills in ones. Well, that's not what I need, so I'm going to come to the drop down autofill menu and click fill series. And ironically enough, we have 19 questions on the test, and I certainly would prefer to have 20. So what we're going to do is we're going to add another column here to make sure that we have 20 questions. Now, if you remember from a video that I did earlier, if you watched it, if I go up here and highlight the letter T and right click and click insert, it will insert another column for me. However, now I have question 18 blank 19, and I also have a blank in my formula over here now. So what am I going to do? Well, I'm going to go to the bottom of that number 18. I'm going to drag it across. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I'm going to left click, drag it across, and now it's going to say 18, 18, 18. I'm going to hit the autofill drop down menu, and I'm going to click on the option for fill series. And now, once my slow computer does that, okay, now I have 18, 19, 20. Now I need to fix my two formulas that I have on the bottom here. I'm simply going to bottom right click, drag it across, no problem. Here, again, since I made it that absolute value earlier, I'm just going to bottom right click, drag it across, and now I have my formula there. And you might say, well, Jen, what about all those annoying little green tags that have shown up? I couldn't agree with you more. They certainly are annoying. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all of them, all of the cells that have that annoying green tag, and I'm going to say ignore this error. Well, you might say, well, why do you have that error? Well, that error came up because Excel likes to have the formula on the left of the cell and the formula on the right of a cell to kind of be in a matching pattern. It likes when that number increases or that letter increases. And because I put in that absolute value where it was only looking at the number of students that you have in your class, it doesn't like it. It thinks something is wrong with it. It's kind of telling me like, hey, did you make a mistake? And I'm going to say to it, no, I did not make a mistake. I want to ignore that error. So now that I've hit ignore that error, all of those lovely little green tabs have disappeared. Okay, the next thing I want to do here is I noticed that this page is taking up an awful lot of room. In fact, I have to scroll over to see the entire area, and that's just bothersome to me. I think we can make the width of these columns much narrower. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click from B all the way over. I'm holding down the left side of my mouse and dragging across to U, and then I'm going to right click. And one of my options, if I go to the drop down menu, will be column width. And I want to change this column width from 8.43, so I'm just going to delete that, and I'm going to make it 6 and hit OK. And once I do that, now I can fit all of the columns on one page. It's much easier to see. I like it much better, much easier to work with. So That's one way you can change your column width. You can also change your row width the same way. You would come over, you would highlight all of your rows, you would right click, you click row height, and then you can change it to whatever you feel you would like to. I'm okay with the row height right now, but if you wanted to, you could do that. All right. So let's get back to what we were focused, our original purpose for this, which was to, oh no, hold that thought, my friends. Well, this is reality. It's reality TV. Hold on. Okay. All right. Yes, I know. Okay. So our original focus that we were talking about for this video was to look at figuring out a formula going horizontally. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to have student 1, I'm going to put in a couple more answer choices for him that he scored correctly. All right, and then, oops, we don't want 11. It's got to be a 0 or a 1. All right, and then what I'm going to do is come over to this section here, and what I want to do is I want to make this say total correct. Well, I don't need all 4 of these boxes right here in order for it to say total correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight all 4 of these boxes right here. I'm going to right click and make it where it says format cells. I'm going to click on that. And then I'm going to click where it says alignment. And then I'm going to click the box where it says merge cells. So now I'm taking 4 cells and making them 1. So that's what I just did. And you'll notice that the lines are no longer there. And this is 1 cell. So I'm going to have it say total correct. As you can guess, the total correct word is not going to fit in there all by itself. You'll notice it's cut off. So the best thing to do is to click on that cell, right click, go to format cells, and I'm going to adjust it from being horizontal to being vertical by moving it this way and hitting OK. And now total correct is where I'd like it. Once again, I hate it being not centered, so I'm going to center and center. Okay. I might want to change it to a different color, so I'll come up here and change it to a different color. Let's do the orange. Okay. I might want to bold it. So I'll come up and hit the B button. I might want to put a thick outside border on it. All right. So now I know that this whole column here is going to be the total correct, the number of questions the students have correct. So right here, I want it to add up horizontally. So what I'm going to do is come to my function button here, and I'm going to hit sum, hit OK. Keep in mind it's going to put in that auto sum, so it's thinking from S5 to U5 because I have so many of those empty boxes. That's where it thinks it needs to go. But unfortunately, my computer, you are not smarter than the average bear in this situation. You are incorrect. That is not what I want you to calculate. So I'm going to take my cursor and say I want you to go from B5 all the way across to U5, and now that is filled in, B5 to U5, it tells me it's 7, and I'm going to hit Okay. So now the total correct here is 7. Again, it's not lined up the way I want to. I'm going to highlight all these boxes. I'm going to hit center, and now they're just going to come out the way I want. Now, remember, if you want to pull down the formula to add, for all of them to add across, we absolutely can do that. We're going to have it pull down like this, and now it is adding everything across the way that we want to. So we have the total correct. So the next thing we're going to do is let's figure out the, well, right now I'm just going to put some borders around here because I think it's much easier to see. There we go. Now let's merge this together, and we're going to give the test score, the actual percentage score. So again, we're going to highlight all those cells. I'm going to click merge cells. Now I have all the cells together. Instead of 4 separate ones, I have 1. We can type in the word percentage. Again, it's not going to fit that way. I can right click, format cells, take it from horizontal to vertical, holding down the mouse as I move the line. And now percentage is in there. I want it centered, center. Oops, so make sure you guys can see that. Sorry. Let me see. Okay, there you go. So I'm clicking center and center up on the top, middle line. Let's make it bold. So this cell is still highlighted. I'm gonna make it bold. Different color, because we like them to be colorful. At least I do. I think it helps. Okay. We're going to do thick outside border. All right. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Whoops, my thick outside border didn't take. Give me a second. There we go. Okay. So here's where it gets interesting. If this test has every question worth 20 points, then that is super simple, easy. All we would have to do is figure out the number. You could actually average it, and it would be simple. But what we're going to do in this case is, let's say that we have question number 17 is worth 5 points. And usually on the top I would put worth 5. Somewhere up there, I usually tell you that a particular question is going to be worth more points. And again, I do apologize. My mouse is so sensitive. It's often very, it just moves all over the place so quickly. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So we're going to put that this question is worth 5. So now, instead of this being a 20-point test, this is a 25-point test. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in a formula right here telling the computer to take this number and divide it by 25. So what we're going to do is we need to know this cell. This cell is V. Okay, so V right here, and it's number 5. So this cell is V5. So I'm going to go right to the next cell where I want the formula. I'm going to put in the formula line on the top, I'm going to put the equal signs. Okay, so equals V5, V5, oops, sorry. Can't see that. Okay, equals V5, and then I'm going to do it divided by, which is our backwards, slash 25. Okay, so this number, whatever number it's calculating in V5 divided by 25, what does that equal? So I can hit enter, and there is our percentage. Now, in this case, it is set up as a decimal, and most of you do not like that. So, and I understand why. So we're going to right click there, go to Format Cells, and we're going to go to number on the top, and we're going to go to percentage. Okay. And again, I don't usually like more than one decimal place. I usually like it at 0 actually. So I'm going to put it for 0 and hit OK. Now, okay. Now it is set as a percentage. Again, I don't like them when they're off center. So I'm going to come up here, highlight all of those cells, center, center. So we're ready to go. Now, here's what's interesting. I could drag down this formula from one cell to the other. However, what I want you to look at here, just so you'll keep in mind, why this will work is because here we had in the first one, let's go to the first one. It has V5 divided by 25. Okay, that's correct. The next one will say V6 divided by 25. You'll notice that the first cell is increasing by 1. Well, when we did it down here, that did not work properly. We had to use the $ as the absolute. Here we don't need to because it's the first cell that is increasing. So if I go here to the next one, V7 divided by 25. So these percentages are correct. Now, what if I want to get the class average? Okay, so I'm going to take each percentage here and average them out together to see what I get. So that it's nice and bright and bold, I'm going to take these 4 cells and merge them together. So I've highlighted all of them. I'm going to click Format Cells. I'm going to click Alignment. I'm going to hit Merge Cells and click OK. Now, some people might be saying, well, Jen, you actually can use, there's actually on the top here, you have a Merge and Center, you have a Wrap Text. You know, you certainly can use those. They're meant to be faster for you. But what can I tell you? It's one of those preference things. With going through different years and different versions, it's just easier for me to remember to right click and do it that way, but you do it however you want to. All right, so I've merged these 4 cells together, and now we're going to make this into our grade, our average for the class. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click on this cell, which is one big cell now. I'm going to go to the function key over here, and now I'm going to click on average. And I'll click OK, and it's probably going to ask, it's going to say V5 through V7, and if I look right here, V5 through V7, is that one I want it to average? No, actually it's not. I don't want it to average the total correct. I want it to average the percentage. So I'm going to click on the first one. Again, we're smarter than the average bear here. I'm going to click on the first one, and I'm going to drag it down by right-clicking in the bottom here and pulling down, and click OK, because that's what I want it to make a percentage of, and then it did. And there we go. Right now, that is the percentage of the score for this particular class on this particular 25-point test. So now you have pretty much learned some basic functions for building a spreadsheet. You have essentially built your own spreadsheet here. Now, I will tell you that, again, under this function, you will learn that there are many, many different functions. You can see them all in here. This is just mostly recently used. There are tons of different functions that you can use in Excel. Again, I wish I had more time to go over more of them, but honestly, I think these are the functions, averaging and sums, that we will use the most often at BM Williams. But you can certainly look at other YouTube videos to help you design fancier spreadsheets, to take your spreadsheets and make them as tables and graphs and things of that nature. But hopefully this will help you with the spreadsheets that we use right now at BM Williams. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Take care.